I'm a G. I'm a G. I'm a G. I'm a G.
Yeah.
And I'm focused, man. It's Crash and Danger, and you know this, man.
I'm a G.
What's up, everybody? Crash here. Welcome back to Crash Against the Spirit, where we talk about sports from a betting perspective. We are here to talk some NBA today. It's Wednesday, October 30th, and there's 11 games. Not betting everything. I got a few things in the parlay, trying to talk out these last couple straight bets that I want to make. But let's go ahead and get into it. Last night, terrible day. Like I said, came off a good 3 days when I was out of town, and saying it out loud makes the next day a goner. So that was my bad. But everybody I know, not everybody I know, but a lot of people I know, a lot of people I respect, listen to, watch their shows. A lot of us were on the same picks, so I was not alone in this bad day. But moving on to today, got 11 games to talk about. Detroit and Philly. Detroit is 4-point underdogs. Philly is at home. Totals at 219. Philly has owned Detroit in recent history. So everybody would assume that the trend would continue. There's still no Joel Embiid. There's still no Paul George. Right, there's still no Joel Embiid. There's still no Paul George. The last 10 meetings where Philly has won 9 of them, the spreads were all super high. This Detroit team was garbage, pretty much, as we remember, injured, or whatever the case may be. So with this number being at 4, I think we definitely have a different look Pistons team, and I'd be willing to throw them in a parlay to see if they hit today. So don't know if that's going to make one of my sure bets, but that's kind of how I feel about that game. We're looking at 2 different teams from 2 different years when we talk about the history. So that's where I lean on that one. Pistons plus 4.5 if you can get it. The Hawks and the Wizards, they just played in Atlanta, and as 7.5 point underdogs, the Wizards won outright. So 121-119. Hawks might not be a good team this year either. So whereas you literally want to take the reverse scenario that happened last game, Wizards won outright and they're still underdogs. So and now we're back in Washington. So let's give the Wizards another shot, because the Hawks don't seem to be able to put it together. They won their first 2 games. The first one was against Brooklyn, who looks a little better now than they did going to overtime with the Nuggets last night. And they won against Charlotte by 5 in a high-scoring game. They did not cover the spread, though. So then they got blown out by Oklahoma City, and then they lost to the Wizards the next game. So it was a back-to-back, though, the next day. So I'm willing to bet the Wizards. Not sure if it'll make my straight bet, but it's probably also going to be in a parlay. Next game up, we have the Celtics and the Pacers. Pacers, out of their 4 games, they've lost their last 3 in slightly convincing fashion. They didn't cover the spread as 8-point favorites against Philly. They did not cover the spread as 4-point underdogs against the Knicks. Knicks had some revenge from last year, though, and they just lost by 4 to the Magic as 5-point underdogs. So they did cover the spread there. Now we're looking at 7.5, 6.5, down to 6.5 for the Celtics. So Celtics, much better team than these teams that they've played so far. And Celtics swept them last year in the playoffs, so they do have that revenge. But I don't think that they're if they can't get up for that Knicks game, why are they going to get up for this Celtics game? So, Celtics minus 6.5 for that one. Next game up, we have Charlotte and Toronto. I like Charlotte. Hornets money line, I think, is going to be in a parlay for me. I haven't seen Charlotte play this year. I know they're healthy again. So the Raptors just haven't been playing good ball. So I'm on Hornets or passing on this one. But I hope to see some of these games tonight if I stay off of work. So we'll see. Next game up, we have the Cavs and the Lakers. LeBron coming back to Cleveland. And I'm on the +5. +5.5. Is it down to +4 now? +4.5. So, LeBron coming back into Cleveland. Cleveland is playing good ball, 4-0. They've beaten Toronto, Detroit, Washington, and the Knicks. So, Lakers are a step up in competition, I believe. Lakers are going to be pretty good this year, in my opinion. They just lost a close one to the Suns. Other than that, they were on a roll. So, would rather have the points in my pocket with LeBron in town. So that's where I'm going to be. Lakers plus the 4.5. Next game up, Heat and Miami. Don't really have a good feel for this one. I haven't seen Miami play yet, and the Knicks haven't been playing the way I expected them to. So I know they got some new pieces, and maybe it's a chemistry thing going on right now. But in that case, Miami is pretty much the same squad from last year, so they have the chemistry. So I guess lean on Miami at home, but I don't really have a good feel for that game. Brooklyn and Memphis. Brooklyn is on a back-to-back. They played last night against Denver in Brooklyn, and then they had to travel to Memphis. They had an overtime game, so high scoring, a lot of energy expended in that loss. John Morant is a game-time decision, but I think I would lean Grizzlies here. Just going to be some tired legs in the fourth quarter, and I don't know if they'll be able to keep up the entire game. So Grizzlies or nothing for me here. Magic and the Bulls. Chicago is 5-point underdogs at home. We know the Magic is a good team. Not sure how good the Bulls are this year yet. So they're 2-2. They have losses to the Pelicans in their first game, which as the season goes on is not a good loss. And a loss to OKC, which is understandable. And they've beaten the Bucks by 11 and beat the Grizzlies in Memphis by 3. So that game we had no John Morant either. So with no John Morant, they beat the Grizzlies and they beat the Bucks, struggling Bucks team, and lost to the what was it, the Thunder? I just said lost to the Thunder by 19 points. So lean on the Magic here, but if the Bulls cover, I wouldn't be surprised. Just haven't really seen a lot from them this year yet. So Spurs at the Thunder. I like the Thunder. The number's a little high, so I wouldn't doubt that San Antonio can cover this number. But the Thunder have been a force, especially at home. So I would lean their way first. Pelicans at the Warriors. These two teams played yesterday in San Francisco, and they got blown out with no Curry, with the Warriors as underdogs. So now the line is moved 3 points to the Warriors being favored by 2.5 points. And I think that's the best look. Pelicans aren't looking good, and the Warriors minus Steph Curry still look pretty formidable. So pretty deep team, a lot of young players, and still like them to cover this number against the Pelicans. Last game up, we got the Blazers and the Clippers, and I think the Clippers should win this game at home versus the Blazers. Blazers' only win this season is against the Pelicans in a not a back-to-back, but a kind of home-and-home consecutive game situation. They covered the spread against the Pelicans in the first game, losing by 2, and then they beat the Pelicans outright 125-103, winning by 22 the following game. So I think that's more detriment to the Pelicans than the congratulations to the Blazers, because they did get blown out by the Warriors in the first game, and then blown out by or they lost by 13, which was a push to the Kings in the last game they played. So they are losing by margin mostly, except to the Pelicans, and I expect the Clippers to try to get their first win at home dominantly, and that wall is kind of distracting, especially for new players. So lean on the Clippers in the final game, and that's going to do it. So I think I like the Hornets versus the Raptors. I like the Lakers versus the Cavs. And I like the Warriors and the Clippers. So those are my favorite 4. Go ahead and lock those in. Let's get this money. We'll be back tomorrow to talk some more sports.